A warm welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Wednesday, December 23. The island's tourism players are keeping a close eye on arrivals from the United Kingdom, its main source market, where tough COVID-19 lockdown measures are in effect. Prime Minister Boris Johnson issued a stay-at-home order for London and Southeast England at the weekend as the country investigates new strains of the coronavirus. Chairman of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, Jeffrey Roth, says with Barbados still open to flights from the UK, they will be paying attention to the number of visitors arriving from that market.
The question has been asked as to what impact this will have on Barbados' tourist arrivals. And as you would have noted, Barbados' airspace is not closed to flights from the UK. So the reality is that any impact at this time on visitor arrivals will basically be dependent upon whether UK visitors make the decision to travel or not. So, of course, what we will certainly be doing is monitoring the load factors on those flights coming in out of the UK to have a feel as to if the announcements have any dampening effect on anticipated arrivals over the next few weeks.
Barbadians, too, are wary about reports of new strains of the coronavirus identified in the UK, South Africa, and Australia. They are, however, pleased with government's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic while stressing the need for fellow citizens to stick to the COVID-19 protocols.
Yeah, I would be concerned that people not hearing due to the fact that, England, Barbados have come a long way and we really ain't like other Caribbean countries, And I think we are doing a good job and people are hearing to it and that's what they want because they want to be safe, not only you, your family and your friends and everybody around you.
Yeah, I'm concerned mostly for truth because you shut down and then you don't know how the second wave could be, how worse it can. So I'm very, very concerned.
And what will you be doing at Christmas Day?
Well, it's just spending time with family for the time being, just hoping and praying that don't get sick or anything because lately they had a lot of deaths. So just hoping and praying that spend some more time.
Well, the protocols, I think Barbados handled it fairly well. As you can see, we is one of the most, I would say, secure places in Caribbean. But all in all, we handling the protocols real good. Everybody always on a mask, you always sanitizing every store. So I think Barbados handled it fairly good.
That is always a scary situation and we are always conscious of it. Fortunately, we try to educate our children and try to tell them how to be safe, what they need to be doing, what they need to be looking out for, staying away from. There will always be people who will try to flaunt systems. Some people see rules as something to be broken. It's not the smartest thing to do, but some people like to operate on that policy. But hopefully the necessary authorities will track them down and bring them into line so everybody can be safe. It's better to be take it easy now and we all be happy in 2021 than I have another 2020.
COVID-19 is not the only health threat facing Barbadians. Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Kenneth George has again urged householders to take action to prevent dengue fever. He says over the last month, suspected cases of the virus caused by the Aedes aegypti mosquito was within the normal expected levels seen yearly, and health officials will monitor the trend this month and in the weeks ahead to see where the outbreak is going. Dr. George assured that fogging in areas that have an increase in mosquitoes or where cases of the virus have been identified have stepped up. He's appealing to the public to examine their surroundings once or twice a week to prevent mosquito breeding. Minister of Transport and Works Ian Gooden-Edgell says he's prepared to meet with business owners along Highway 1 whose operations have been affected by ongoing roadworks. Work on Phase 1 of the Highway 1 rehabilitation program has been delayed by 2 months as a result of recent heavy rains. Gooden-Edgell assures they have been trying to ensure minimal dislocation, and while he has not received any formal complaints from the businesses, he's willing to talk.
We've not been advised formally by any businesses in the area that they have experienced such a significant reduction in sales. I'm not sure if our public relations consultant in the project have heard, but we have not, so I'm not sure the source. But if we are a reasonable government and we are a reasonable ministry, and if any person were to approach us, we will sit down and have a conversation. But one thing I can tell you is that the ministry took a decision, and a very proactive one, to ensure that we had community liaison officers on site who interact with residents and businesses. We also had the public relations company assigned to the project who also engage in constant interaction with them. And like you heard from the representative from the beer company, they have not been informed of any substantial or reduction in sales.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news now, Trinidad and Tobago records a 25% reduction in crime and over 140 less murders this year when compared to 2019. Word of this from Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffith.
This reduction has come about because of the great work you did during these challenging times. In the midst of the pandemic duty, you were faced with coordinated attempts to destabilize our national security, policing lifestyles, migrant issues, challenges to our manpower by the pandemic, in addition to many other issues seen and unseen.
On the international scene in the U.S., there are clear signs that the economy is far from out of the woods. And as we hear in this report from Reuters Television, consumer spending dropped in November for the first time since the recovery from the recession started in May.
More signs on Wednesday that the U.S. economic recovery is sputtering. Consumer spending, the biggest driver of economic activity, fell for the first time since the recovery began in May. The Commerce Department reported that personal spending fell 0.4% in November as Americans cut back on purchases of cars, clothing, and shoes and spent less at restaurants and bars. That offset increases in spending at supermarkets and liquor stores. Less spending was coupled with a plunge in personal income, which declined 1.1% last month. That dip reflects the expiration of a government loan program for businesses hurt by the pandemic. A third Commerce report showed business spending rose, but the pace has slowed. Separately, the Labor Department reported Wednesday that the number of Americans filing first-time claims for jobless benefits unexpectedly fell last week to 803,000, but that's still historically high, well above the peak of 665,000 claims filed during the Great Recession. In a day flooded with economic news, sales of new homes fell more than expected in November. These reports come on the heels of data on Tuesday showing existing home sales declined last month and consumer confidence slumped to a 4-month low in December.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.